Hello everybody! Today I would like to read to you the last story from our box set here, which is the Marvel's Avengers Assembles story collection. So if you remember, there was 4 stories about the 4 different Avengers, because lots of you at school like these characters. And this is the origin stories of how they came to be the Avengers, and I didn't know these stories, so this has been really good for me. So remember, we are discovering the heroic origins of the Earth's mightiest heroes. So we've only got one left. Can you have a look at those characters and see which one we've got left? Let's have a look. So this is Iron Man, we've had him. This is the Hulk, we've had him. This is Captain America, we've had him. So today we're going to be learning about the origin story of Thor. Now, just like with all the other books, there are lots and lots of pictures of the characters and the scenes. So I'm going to be reading it, showing you all the pictures. Now, this book is based on a mythical place, not on Earth. So there are lots and lots of unusual names, which I will do my best to pronounce to you. Okay, are you ready? I hope you enjoy. A Marvel Avengers Assemble origin story of Thor. What would it be like to live among legends? To be something more than human? To hold great power in your hands and to know how to use it? To be feared? To be brave? And to be honoured? To be mighty? Some are born with these qualities, and some spend their lives working to attain them. This is a story about someone who was born into royalty, but needed to earn his honour. This is a story about a hero named Thor. Thor's realm was called Asgard. It sat like an island where the shores were swept by the sea of space. The people who lived on Asgard were called Asgardians, and the Asgardians called our world Midgard. The only way to reach our world from theirs was by the Rainbow Bridge Bifrost. The bridge was guarded by the sentry called Heimdall. Even though Asgard was well protected, threats were endless. Thor was one of the land's greatest protectors. Thor was also a prince. He lived with his brother Loki in the castle of their father Odin. Thor was arrogant and chose his friends for their loyalty. The brave warrior Balder, a band of soldiers called the Warriors Three, Fandral, Volstagg and Hogun, and the beautiful, strong and wise Lady Sif. Thor's father Odin ruled over all of Asgard. He and his wife Frigga wanted nothing more than for their sons to grow up to be just and worthy rulers. But there could only be one supreme ruler of Asgard, only one who would be like Odin, and even though Loki was thoughtful, clever and quick, Thor was firstborn, and so the throne was his by right. To determine when Thor would be ready to rule, Odin had a special hammer made. It was forged from a mystical metal called Uru, which came from the heart of a dying star. The hammer was named Mjolnir and held great power. But no one would be able to lift the hammer unless he or she was worthy, and the hammer was immovable to Thor. Still, Odin's actions made it clear the hammer was meant for his firstborn son and no one else. Even so, proving worthy of Mjolnir was not an easy task. Thor spent nearly every moment trying to earn his right to hold the hammer. He performed amazing acts of bravery. He was honoured for acts of nobility. He demonstrated feats of great strength. With every great achievement, Thor attempted once more to pick up Mjolnir. It seemed as if he would never raise the hammer more than a few centimetres from the ground until one day he did. Thor had proven himself worthy of his weapon, and he used it well. When he threw the hammer, it always returned to him. When he twirled it by its handle, he could soar like a winged beast, and when he slammed it twice upon the ground, he could summon all the power of lightning, rain, and thunder. In fact, with his hammer in hand, there was little Thor could not do. And he knew it. Odin wanted Thor to be a great warrior, and he had become one. He wanted him to earn the respect of Asgard. He had it. But Thor began to let the power go to his head, and Odin was not happy. In fact, he had grown quite angry with his son. Odin called Thor to his throne room. Thor knew that something was wrong. His father rarely summoned him in such a harsh tone. Thor was sure that his jealous brother Loki had spun some lie to get him into trouble. But nothing could have been further from Thor's mind than what Odin had to say to him. Odin told Thor that he was his favoured son. He told him that he was brave beyond compare and noble as a prince must be. He told him that his strength was legendary and that he was the best warrior in the kingdom. But Thor did not know what it meant to be weak or to feel pain, and without knowing humility, Thor could never be a truly honourable warrior. Odin was angry. In his rage, he tore Mjolnir from Thor's hand and threw it towards Midgard. Then he stripped Thor of his armour and sent him to Earth. Odin made his son believe that he was a medical student named Don Blake with an injured leg. As Blake, Thor learned to study hard. At times he thought he might fail, but he worked harder than he ever had in Asgard, and in the end he earned his degree. He allowed others to help him with his injury. In doing so, he discovered that people were generally good. Thor learned to truly love humanity. As a surgeon, he treated the sick. He helped weak people find their strengths, and one day, while on holiday in Norway, Don Blake found himself trapped in a cave. The only possible exit lay behind a huge boulder. He found a staff on the ground and shoved it under the boulder. He tried with all his might to move the rock. He pushed and pushed, nothing. Don was so angry that he took the staff and struck it on the ground. But this was no ordinary stick. It was Mjolnir in disguise. Odin had sent Don to hid this cave. The All-Father of Asgard was pleased. His son has learnt humility. He had at last become a true hero. He had become human in spirit, but still now and forever, he was the mighty Thor. The end.